everyone, this is Toyin back again with another video. If you're an existing subscriber, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome. So today we're going to be talking about one of your faves, not mine, because I've always seen this person for who he is, a false prophet, and that is Pastor T.D. Jakes of the Potter's House. And we're not just going to talk about T.D. Jakes himself and the scandals surrounding him, but we're also going to talk about his family and the scandals surrounding them. Now, I'm not doing this video to say that everybody who is a church leader or a pastor should be perfect. No, we're all human and it's not possible to be perfect. However, if you are leading the flock, then you need to lead by example. So if your house is not in order, how can you lead a congregation? That is my question. And T.D. Jakes, his house is most definitely not in order. As a bit of background, T.D. Jakes has been ministering for decades. He's a particularly dangerous individual because he's very charismatic, he's very influential, and he's very much in the celebrity world. Now, if you are somebody that in this day and age can be associated with the Diddy parties and you are a pastor, you are a so-called man of God, then we need to be looking at you more closely. So let's start from the beginning. Let's look into T.D. Jakes and give you a bit of a background. So he's been married for decades, since 1982, to Sarita Jakes. He has 5 children, 3 men and 2 women. The women are Cora and Sarah Jakes, who also have their own controversy. And his sons are Thomas, Jamar, and Jermaine Jakes. Now, there isn't one single member of his family, of his children, that doesn't have some kind of controversy surrounding them, or something has happened to them. The only one that I couldn't find anything controversial on is Jamar Jakes, the youngest, but he also has something that's happened to him. So I do believe that there is something very strange going on at the Potter's house, in the big house at the Potter's house. Recently, T.D. Jakes has been surrounded, and I mean surrounded, by controversy. And he's been surrounded by controversy for decades. However, it's in the spotlight now because of the Diddy of it all.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.D. Jakes, any of them, all lies will be exposed.
I'm not laughing at this because it isn't funny, but it's alleged that T.D. Jakes is gay. Or at least playing both sides because he is married as well, but also committing adultery in the sense that he is sleeping with men. And it's also been alleged that at the Diddy parties, he was a power bosser. The accusation is not that T.D. Jakes attended the soft part of the Diddy parties. The accusation is that the after hours baby oil section of the Diddy parties is what T.D. Jakes was attending. And it's also been alleged that some of the footage that was seized by the FBI includes T.D. Jakes. Now, what T.D. Jakes was doing in that footage, we do not know. But you know, we can only assume that it's something nefarious. Again, it's disturbing. And this has now been compounded by the fact that not only is the FBI investigating Pastor Jakes, under what capacity we do not know. We do not know whether it's because of some accusations that have been made, or whether it's because of the Diddy part of it, or whether it's, you know, a bit of everything. But it has come out that there are 3 men, 3 grown adult men, that have said that T.D. Jakes either sexually assaulted or attempted to assault them a number of years ago. Now, you can say that this is decades old. No, we're not here to distinguish or determine when it's appropriate for victims to come out and name their accusers. But the fact that men have come out, grown men, these are men that are in or approaching their 60s. So, and these are black men. And I'm not saying black, I'm not throwing race into it to be facetious. I'm saying it because it's a known thing in the black community, international black community, whether you're African, African American, Afro-British, Afro-European, that homosexuality is something that is still seen as taboo by the broader community. I mean, in a lot of African countries, homosexuality is illegal and something that you can go to prison for. For a black man in the church to come out and say that TD Jakes did something to him, this is a big deal, because this is the most closed community that you can come across. The most closed, especially when homophobia is a very real thing. So, and these are men that come from a generation where homophobia was even more extreme, and, you know, men in the church. So the first person to come across and accuse Pastor Jake is a very problematic individual in himself. I will cover Dwayne Youngblood extensively, because a lot of the things that he's saying, you know, he is not somebody that is without sin, and he is not somebody that is without issue when it comes to sexual abuse and sexual assault himself, as being a perpetrator of it. His brother, Richard Youngblood, has also accused TD Jakes. Now, TD Jakes has countersued both his men and saying that it's basically a shakedown. They're out after him for money and so on and so forth. But what I will say is interesting is that shortly after these men came out and accused TD Jakes, he suffered something that looked like a stroke on the pulpit. And he said something that was very, very, very telling as far as I'm concerned. As he was having his episode, he said, "Let him go in peace."
Now, Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Let him go in peace.
Now, to me, that statement, it was like, to me in that moment, he had a moment of repentance. And, you know, I believe that he met his maker in that moment and repented and asked to go in peace. I don't know, some people are coming out and saying that it was staged, but to me, it looked like he had a near miss. And now he's having the opportunity to redeem himself, but I don't think he will redeem himself. He's doubling down. Another man, grown man called Timothy Anderson, has also come out and accused Pastor Jakes of sexual assault. Now, whether this was something that was done or attempted, basically he tried it on with these people and he put them in a very uncomfortable situation. And one thing I will say, there is a running theme in the nature of the attack or attempted assault, which is that all three men said the same thing, that he forcibly tried to kiss them in a moment of their vulnerability, and he also exposed himself to them. Richard Youngblood said that he exposed himself to him in a bath, and Timothy Anderson said that he was called to do some DIY in Jakes' house or office or something like that, and Jakes exposed himself to him by going to the toilet or the bathroom where he was working, and proceeding to relieve himself, like urinate in front of him, but expose himself. So it's almost like he was sowing a seed, trying to invite the idea or introduce the idea of, do you like what you see? And with Timothy Anderson, it was even a little bit worse, because not that the whole thing is horrible. It's totally, totally horrible. But with Timothy Anderson, he invited Timothy Anderson to wherever the Potter's house is to become a youth pastor. And basically he did a carrot and stick situation with Timothy Anderson, which is that if you want this job, you will do this, which is pleasure me or accept my advances. And he was like, he went away, thought about it, because he thought about it in the sense that he had moved. He was in a desperate, vulnerable situation. He had uprooted his life and moved down to wherever they are to be able to take up on this job. And he was in a desperate situation. So I had to think, do I do this and suck it up and just, know that that's how it goes? Or do I say no and keep my integrity? As Cat Williams would say, protect that virgin hole. Another thing that I found particularly strange about TD Jakes is the extent that he will go to court celebrity. Being a man of God, or a supposed man of God, I don't like that terminology, finding yourself at a Diddy party, when at the time in that industry, people knew mostly what Diddy was about. Yes, last year it became more exposed to the public, but those of us that grew up in the 90s have been knowing that Diddy was not a good person. Now, the extent of his depravity, I don't think anybody could have seen that coming, but we knew he wasn't a good person. So Pastor Jake must have known that he wasn't a good person. And I'm not saying that Jake shouldn't interact with someone like Diddy, because if you are saying that you are a man of God and you're here to spread the word of God, then delivering a sinner like Diddy, especially if you have access to that world, would be a good thing to do. But I don't think that delivering him at that party is the way. A lot of celebrities go to Apostles's house. Even recently, a few years ago, you could see this guy. What's this guy's name? Ooh, the brain fog of it all. The guy that plays Medea. Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry laying hands on TD Jakes. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible for somebody to lay hands on another person, but it was particularly suspect because presumably Tyler Perry had donated a large sum of money, something around $1 million, to the church at the time, and then was laying hands on TD Jakes. Very, very strange behavior. One would think it would be the other way around, but we are all made in the image of God. We can all pray for each other. So I can't say that. I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird to me is all. Another thing is that TD Jakes, your children do some very, very strange things. And I will address this in other episodes. But they do some very, very, very strange things, and you have not called them to order. Now, if you want to hear more about the Jakes family and the controversy surrounding them, then please, again, like, share, and subscribe, and tune in to the part 2 of this video. I might come back and give you an update on the Jake situation as and when. And I do believe that if you are a leader, you need to get your house in order. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe. Until next time, bye.